Hi, my name is Demeka Robertson.
Hi, you guys. Welcome to this week's episode of Enlightened Investments. We have Miss Demeka with us, and we're going to be talking to her about a multitude of topics today. Primarily, though, we're going to be talking to her about some real life struggles and how just coming into your own relationship with self and your own relationship with God can really pull you through those struggles. That's going to be the primary focus of today's conversation. So if you need that message, I encourage you to stick around. Okay, so my first question to you is, if you had to define where you're at currently in your spiritual journey, what would you say?
Still progress. I learn every day, new ways and just new ways to get through life, new ways of loving yourself, just, God words, things that you was taught, like, growing up. Um, yeah, just it's still a journey. Every day is a journey. Every day is a new journey about it with it.
Definitely every day is a journey. We're constantly growing and evolving. Would you say that in the past couple of years, anything has changed specifically as it relates to the way that you view yourself or the way that you practice self-care and self-love?
Yes. 3 years ago, I lost someone very close to me. Um, Pretty much suicide. He killed himself. And during that journey, he was teaching me self-love, self-care. So after he passed, I continued to work on that. So I've been going through a journey, still doing it to today, because I doubt myself like all the time, every day. But I have some great friends and family that always changing my negatives into positive. But I went on a long personal journey with self-love, self-care. You have to love yourself for anyone else to be able to love you.
Yeah, that is so true. That is so true. You definitely have to love yourself for anyone to be able to love you, because if you don't, then you have a tendency to tolerate things that you should not be tolerating, and setting a standard for yourself that you should not be setting, and that will always put you in situations that will not work in your favor. So definitely focus on loving yourself. I know a lot of people, especially people that are, I would say, younger than myself, like in your early 20s, and um a lot of y'all just think like, of course, like, I need to love myself, but I want to have love. I want to have love. And it's like,
We don't know how to. Yeah.
you don't know how to love anyone if you don't love yourself. And so not only are you doing a disservice to yourself by putting yourself into a messed up situation, but you're putting somebody else into a messed up situation. It's like you're never going to be completely healed, but you have to be with someone who is at least equally yoked with you in terms of being willing to do the work of loving themselves and loving you, and that's what's important. So make sure that you guys take that, not
Yes.
just with a grain of salt, but take it in.
Yes, because I was in a lot of like real bad relationships. I wasn't loving myself. I thought I could, if I gave the person the world, they would love me. And these people, they don't care. They did whatever they did. I was in, abusive relationships, all types of, bad stuff, because I thought them loving me means that I was, loving myself. I had low self-esteem, and it was a lot. It was a lot, but I'm glad I was able to, go through that journey. I'm still going through it. I have my days where, I'm so used to being, depressed and telling myself I'm not great, I'm ugly, I'm this, I'm that, and wanting somebody else to tell me all those things. But loving yourself is way more important. You see your worth, and you see, who you are.
Right. Absolutely. Do you feel like there hasn't been anything particularly that has been a catalyst in your growth, spiritually or mentally speaking?
Can you repeat that?
Do you feel like there's anything that has been a catalyst in your spiritual or mental growth? Like anything that has helped to speed up the process, clarify the process, improve the process for you?
Great friends, great advice. You always give great advice. Keep me on my good journey. But that is it. Taking in the positive. That will really make you speed up the process and listen to those positive things. In my 20s, I'm 35 now, but in my 20s, in, since I was born, I was always told, I'm ugly, I'm this, I'm that. I always listened to the bad things. I listen to the bad things. I take a hold of all the bad things, and I really just never really listened to the positive. So many people used to tell me I'm beautiful, but it didn't matter to me that they used to tell me I was pretty and I was doing amazing things, because the one person I wanted to tell me those things didn't tell me. So I was just so focused on that one person not telling me. But then I had to get out of that, and with self-love, self-care, listening to all the positive energy and the positive remarks that I get.
Mm-hmm. It's hard. It's hard to learn to embrace positivity and compliments and things like that when it becomes such a norm for you to be degraded and disrespected at your own home. Like
Yes.
it's really
Yeah.
hard to quit that. I don't think a lot of people understand that. I think it goes unnoticed a lot because it's not like you're gonna openly say like, don't compliment me because I can't take that in right now. You know what I'm saying? But that's like a real struggle for a lot of people. Um, and I think it's very interesting that now you just are like, that's one thing that has helped you. Like that's one thing that's really pushed you, is just being able to take in those positives. What do you think changed that you are able now to take it in versus just like cringing? Because for some people, like positivity can be cringy if they're just so used to the negativity. Like it becomes like almost like you're a masochist, like you just get so used to the pain that you crave it and you don't like anything else. So what do you think changed for you? Was it like just the self-love, self-care?
um I hate to say it, but it was really his passing, and just thinking about all the good things he used to tell me, the things that, I finally opened up to him. He's like, girl, you the shit, and he'd be like, you don't believe it. And he used to I used to always cover myself up. I used to think I was ugly because it wasn't coming from anybody that I wanted it to come from. I was always told I was ugly. I would never become nothing. The statistics of being a teen mom and things like that. But I went to Jamaica. He bought me a swimsuit, a thong swimsuit, and he made me wear it, and he made me take a picture, and and I sent it to him because I thought that's what he wanted me to do. He made me post it on my Facebook. And he was like, every compliment, because I was in bad relationships. So, and if somebody told me I was pretty, I used to get fussed at because they was like, why are you saying thank you? And I'm like, you supposed to say thank you. Like, what I'm supposed to say? You can't tell me I'm pretty. You know what I'm saying? Even though I didn't take them as saying that I'm pretty and things like this. But he made me post the thong swimsuit on Facebook, first picture ever that I ever posted like that. And he was like, now tell everybody thank you. Tell everybody thank you. And he went down the compliments. He used to like reading that stuff to me and things like that. So when his passing, I wanted to continue that.
That is beautiful. That is really beautiful. That's love for real. Like that's really love, and that's rare. But that makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense because it puts you into a mind frame where you're like, okay, like, and then you got a little taste of it, and you're like, all right, I see how this can be healing, and you were open to that healing aspect of it. So that's very beautiful. I love that for you.
Thank you.
Okay, you had mentioned like that, you know, is somebody around? You had mentioned that you were a teen mom and that, you were always told you're ugly, you're not going to be this, you're not going to be that. But you really overcame a lot, and um, you kind of have broken all of those statistics and things that were said to you. And so, looking back, what would you have told your younger self, knowing what you know now? Like, what would you have said to her to give her some hope? Because I'm sure that the light was dim at that time.
Oh yeah, I was in jail. I was on probation when I had my son. I was headed down hills. Uh, I used to go fight all the time. I didn't care about my appearance. But I would have told myself I was a shit, and to listen to what others were saying and not depend on that person that you love to tell you you're beautiful, to tell you you're going to make it. Because a lot of people was telling me I was going to make. Like, I went to school, well, not school. I was in juvenile a lot. And the judges just be like, "You're so smart. You're so pretty. Why is you here? Why is you fighting? Why is you letting people touch your face?" I'm like, I don't care. I just used to wish I was dead all the time. I wasn't. I just used to wish I was dead. All because of like one person. Just well, and then it became like three. But I just wanted to prove to them. So them saying those things to me, even though some people would take like it was a cop out, I just look at it like it was motivation. I'm gonna show you better than I could tell you. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good though. Because it's like you proved your point.
I did, and I'm still proving it. Now I'm in like a real bad custody thing with my daughter and stuff. And he just showed his butt. He called the cops on me yesterday. And the attorney, and it's just a lot. And he's been calling me, telling me I'm worthless. I'm a bad mother. He didn't even want his daughter to see her brother go off. Yeah.
Girl, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna have to talk to you about this when I cut off the record,
Thank you.
because that just took me to a whole nother place.
It's been a lot. Like, I have people, just people, and people are always doubtful, but you just got to take those negatives and turn them to positive. And that's how I was always trained. Like, I'm going to show you, like, better than I could tell you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes that's how you gotta be. But then sometimes it gets so exhausting having to allow the negativity to fuel you because you don't have any other option. Um, so like what would you have told yourself? Like, if you knew then what you know now, what would you have said to your younger self?
That you are greatness, you are Black excellence, you are the shit, pretty much. And they are haters. Definitely. I just never knew. You hear things about like mother and daughter relationships, or older woman being jealous of you, and it's just like it's sad, but you never thought that would happen to you. You never thought you would be in that predicament. You never thought you would be, a teen mom. I wanted to be a lawyer. I told everybody I was gonna be a lawyer. Like, some of my goals did not happen, but a lot of my goals, did happen. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's really good, because sometimes you get stuck in the negativity or even in the environmental constraints. But it's
Mhm.
good that you're able to just
And people
release that.
see that. Yeah, people see that in you, and like, that's how I was in these bad relationships. They knew I had low self-esteem. They knew I was pretty. They knew I was smart. But they also could read that I was shy. I don't I how I used to dress. People could read you better than
Mhm.
you could read yourself, and they'll come in and they'll act like they're Prince Charming, and they finna do all of this great thing about you and be the worst ones. And then you have the negative people, they used to like talk bad about you, wanting you to go through the stuff and telling you those are, good things. It's hard just to calling out the snake, thinking you proving them right and you're doing something that's making them happy when they just want you to be miserable and stay there.
That's definitely true. A lot of people want you to trauma bond with them, especially in situations like yours. Not everybody knows me, so they don't know what I know about you. And I don't want to tell all of your business, but I will say, some of us have just had very rough upbringings, but it's a completely different type of rough when you have to grow up in foster care, because there are people who will prey on your needs and literally take advantage of your vulnerability every single opportunity that they get for a check and for sympathy and attention. Literally, like it happens all the time. So with that being said, growing up in that environment, it's just like you don't really get the love and affection that you need most of the time. You're not getting the attention and enlightenment, mentorship that you need most of the time. And you just have to figure everything out on your own pretty much. And the people that are around you, your foster care siblings, the foster parents most of the times, even most of the neighbors, because let's just be honest, a lot of times, like I said, people do this for a check and then they don't live in the best situations and circumstances. And it's just like all of that and that energy and their problems and their trauma is then passed down to these children who are not even related to them. And then on top of all of that, they have to get out of this environment that y'all have been stuck in for years and years and years. And y'all don't know anything else. So you can't teach them nothing else. And it's just like, it's just like you might as well be a slave. Like you might as well be in jail. Like it's the same thing. You know what I mean? Like it's the same thing.
It is.
So like just that alone and having to be so hyper independent at like a young age and having to figure out like how to develop your own confidence, how to figure out like what relationships are really supposed to be like and feel like, and then to have a child, that is traumatizing.
It was hard. It was hard. I was making $5.15 an hour. Pay. I got food stamps. I wasn't on Section 8 then. I got Section 8 like when he was like 3. No, he was 2. This fly.
It's the hater.
Yeah. But it was hard. I didn't know. In my mind, when I first had him, I just kind of like said I was babysitting for the first couple of months. I didn't get to name him. I knew I loved him and I knew I didn't want him to go through anything, I went through. But it was just definitely hard trying to figure it out. So what I did was I met great mothers, older people, and I always ask for advice. Like, what would you have done? And I took the advice. I took everybody have different advice. Everybody has their own greatness. But I like to take, a person's special technique and use it.
That's what you're receptive.
Yeah. I'm only receptive to good information though. It gotta make sense.
Of course, but you have enough sense to be discerning and take in the good stuff and leave what you didn't need out. Some people just don't take nothing because they're hard-headed.
Yeah, I was hard-headed too, I'm not gonna lie. And that's how I still got in those relationships. And, and during those relationships, seeing my son react to them, being hit on and mistreated and the things like that. And, always been told that I can't raise a man, which I know I can't raise a man, but I could teach him how to be respectful and honorable and be a Black man. I knew those right. And like when I used to do bad things used to happen. Like literally bad things used to happen. It never got as far as like me losing my kids or anything like that. But it got as far as like him witnessing things I would never want him to witness, Yeah. but I was always like receptive to like positive energy. And I just knew at that time, change is always good. Change can be good. You got to change a lot.
Change is the only constant in our lives from when we take our first breath, time we take our last breath and get on up out of here. The only thing that is consistent and progressive is change. So we definitely got to be receptive to change. You had said something that I was going to ask you about, and I just forgot. God darn it. Shoot, what was it? I don't know, maybe it'll come back to me. But I want to pivot just for a second and talk about hyper independence and relationships. Oh, that's what it was. That's what it was. You said that people tell you all the time that you can't raise a man, but you can teach your son to be honorable and nurturing, and teach him how to be upstanding. Do you feel as though there is a breakdown in the relationship of Black single mothers with their daughters versus their sons? And if so, why do you feel like that?
I have saw that my whole life. My whole life, I saw the difference of Black mothers with their sons. I had and then their daughters. And those men I used to date, I used to always tell myself, they were mama boys. I was like, I would never like do that. Bless you. I would never like raise my son that way. That taught me a lot on how to raise my son. And then, and they come back with their negative. You can't raise no man. You ain't got no penis. I'm like, I know, but I could show him how to be, respectful. And I would never want him to be like you, even though, and then they used to be like, his dad not around. So how you gonna tell me my mama, they mama, and it's like, mamas, but like they kids can do no wrong. They literally, I'm having black eyes. I'm looking at their mom and they're like, well, he said, that's my baby. You should have just let him been a couple of days late on rent. You should have just paid it. You should have they made, and then they have these girls and they call the girls hoes. They be like, you ain't gonna be nothing. And they make these girls go out here and just feels like they have to do everything. And then these men, they just feel so entitled. Like I just never wanted my son to feel. I wanted him to know that I love him and I would do my very best for him, but I never wanted him to feel like I'm just gonna allow him to do dumb stuff. Dumb stuff. I tell him all the time, nope, nope. Like I made him stuff. Yes, I got him a car. Yes, I do a lot for him. I feel like I really do a lot for him, and I overcompensate from him not having that male figure in his life. But I would never ever make seeing how Black men are raised, like what we call them kitty babies.
Yeah.
That, and they come from like Black, and I don't know, I can't explain it. I can't put them wrong. They come from like bad parents and bad relationships and things like that. It's I don't know how to explain. It's just insane to me seeing that. And I made it a point to never do that, raise my son that way.
I think that's very beautiful because I feel like a lot of our people don't realize, first of all, we don't realize the scientific difference between men and women. And it's really sad because we're getting into a point where we're coming into a whole generation, no matter what the race, is getting to a point where they don't understand the scientific difference between men and women. And it's not just our genitalia. The way that our brain chemistry is set up is completely different. That being said, because of how humans first were on this earth, men obviously were used for certain purposes. Some of those purposes were hunting, war, harsh things. So they had to develop, or not even develop because it's already in them. They had to tap into their animalistic instincts to a certain degree. And if they don't learn to be nurturing, if they don't learn to be considerate, if they don't learn to be righteous, they're not going to do it because it's not their first instinct. So when these mothers have these sons and they teach them how to be nurtured, right? But don't teach them how to nurture. They teach them how to be taken care of, don't teach them how to take care of nothing. They teach them how somebody can go to work every day, pay the bills, make sure there's food in the refrigerator while they're at home on the couch
On the
chilling,
game.
right? They
Exactly.
teach
My
them
mama did
this.
it. I ain't your mama.
Exactly. Like,
I
and
tell
that's
my son that all the time. He be like, but you are.
you are his mama, but like the
Yeah,
point
but I
still
ain't gonna do it.
remains. Like, I'm not about to just sit here and take care of you as a grown man. Like, you have to figure it out. And even as a young boy, you should be teaching your sons. You should be teaching your sons how to nurture just as much as you nurture them. You should be teaching your sons how to take care of other people the same way that people take care of them. Your sons should not have these entitled beliefs that women are just here to serve them. That's the problem with the world now. That's why we having a lot of issues. I could go, but that's a whole nother video. I could go into a whole lot of detail about
Yeah,
that.
I was about to say that is why we have the problem. These men are watching their mom do it, and they be like, if my mom could do it, you can do it. And no, the fuck, I cannot. I'm sorry. I have done it. I'm not even going. I have done it. You always have your breaking point. Like, I can't do this. I can't work. Like, men are supposed to be leaders and supposed to be providers. And even if you want, I feel like they had that whole 50 thing going on. You pay 50% of the bills, you pay 50. Like, even if you want that to happen, but I'm not gonna be 100% of that woman. Like, it's a hard being like I was married. I'm divorced. But I was a stay-at-home wife, miserable, having to ask him for money, didn't have my own self-dependence. And that's what we was brought up to do. Like, you're supposed to be a housewife, you're supposed to listen to them. Women didn't teach women how to love. They just taught us how to freaking survive. Like, and then read the Bible, and then this is what it says that you're a good wife. If you listen to your husband, if you do what he say, he is always right. He's a leader. Like, that's all I was taught, and I did it, and I was good at it. But it gets a breaking point because you lose your self identity. Like, who are you? Why am I asking you for money? You know what I'm saying? It was hard. It was hard. I can never be a stay-at-home wife. Like, I just cannot.
That's crazy. My family, they do raise their kids like that. Like, well, not all of them, but like the ones who are married, which is a lot of them, they do. They raise their kids. The boys do certain things, the girls do certain things, and they have certain things that they can't do. And then it's just like the girls are told, like, okay, this is what you do. Even if you do have your own education and your own job, you need to, when you have a family, you need to focus on your family. You need to put your family first.
Not even family. Focus on him. He is your family.
But that when I say family, I mean like your husband and your kids.
Mm-hmm. No, not even the kids. They like really teach you to focus on your. Like, I feel like as mothers, and as mothers, we just tend to focus on our kids. Yeah. But growing up, they make you focus on your husband. That thing, your husband come first. She's not married to your wife and kids. You know what I'm saying? You're not married. You're not wife and kids, but you're not the mom. It's just weird.
That is weird. That is weird. My mama, she has always been a relationship type of woman, but she just got married. I want to say I'm 32. I want to say my mama got married when I was 28. So she hasn't been married that long. She's always been in relationships, but like I've seen her go through the most in relationships, but she never told me that I should be putting up with the most in relationships. She always told me, like, don't let nobody do X, Y, and Z to you. You ain't about to be taking care of no grown ass man unless he's marrying you. And on top of that, you ain't about to be having nobody kids and turning into nobody's baby mama. Because if he ain't willing to invest in you and what you got going on in your future and uplift you before he wants to get you pregnant and take away from you, then he ain't worthy of your time. But I've never liked men anyway, so it ain't matter what my mama said to me about men. I wasn't, I wasn't on that. Like, it was never
Right.
my thing. But she did, I will say, she did, despite that kind of mentality with women always like being weak for men and putting up with things that they shouldn't. But despite that being generational in my family, my mama never really said nothing to me of that sort that I can recall. Like, never. I can't never remember her saying, just be a good wife and take care of your husband.
Well, my mom never told me that either, but it's just like when you go to church, when you read the Bible, when you look up things that says be a good wife, this is what it's telling you. This is what you need to do to be good. And it doesn't work. We're not, but then when you talk to Black women, always have it's like they're so angry, always have a get out plan.
You shouldn't
like you said, don't put up with it,
but you can't live like that. And I think that's why we're so behind as a race when it comes to just love and togetherness. Like, because we all love each other. We pick to come together and have fun, build some community. But when it comes to just really showing up
together.
But when it comes to just like showing up and really like doing what we're supposed to do together, being righteous together, it's a struggle. And it's because I don't think as a people, a lot of us understand really what love and togetherness is. I feel like we just put all these emotions into it. And it's so much deeper than all of those feelings. Like, I think a lot of the reason why it's really even set up like that is because, or why it doesn't work rather, with the way that we're taught and everything, like how it's set up in the Bible. And, we were never supposed to live like that. Like, those are patriarchal conditions. Those are laws made and rules written and terms and conditions for men. Mm-hmm. Of course, when you're trying to control testosterone and natural erection and people, having sex and wasting energy when y'all have other things to do, of course, you're going to have to come up with something to demonize sex or to demonize the female anatomy, because it's always been fluid, it's always been free, and it's always been something that gives life. So it's always been attractive. Like, let's just be honest. Like,
tell me as I was pretty, really.
So it's just, I think we have a really skewed perception of what love is, what men and women are supposed to be, and what togetherness and family really looks like. Because I mean, look at where we started. You know what I'm saying? Like, our ancestors were not going through the best of conditions.
They had the white man got the milkman. They always call me the milkman baby, the house baby. Like, this is the only race that I know we have multiple different races.
It's just crazy. It's crazy. And then we wonder why we ain't got all our dang on sense.
Right. I'm like, what make a light-skinned person better than a dark-skinned person, or a dark-skinned person better than a light-skinned person? Because we all Black. We all
Black. We all Black.
Back to control. It goes back to what they like you said, these man-made rules to make them feel empowered, to make them feel great, about themselves. But yeah, we was never taught how to love. We always was taught back to slavery, an exit plan. That's what we was taught. And the crazy thing about it is that we did have some really, really great families back then until they, messed it up and, was able, the man wasn't able to save their women from being, raped and things like that by the white man. And slavery went on. And then the black man started sleeping with the white man. I was just watching Life the other day. I'm the pappy.
It's really deep, but people don't understand the psychological impact of this, especially when you speak in terms of DNA and genetic and epigenetics and like just the spiritual depth and context that all of that can have. It's heavy. It's a lot of weight. So like it's just a lot of trauma and hate, really is what it is, because you don't know any other way. You can't trust nobody. You always feel like everybody's in competition with you. It's just like you can't win for losing. Like really, that's like in our DNA, that is imprinted, because that's exactly what our ancestors went through. So many of us. Now, there are some of us who come from great families who have done the work of healing and, they know how to love each other. But those of us who
families, what do we say about those families? How do we say that they act?
I don't ever say that they act like white families, because I know too many white people.
But I don't necessarily say it, but it's out there. If they act,
but I don't understand that though, because most of the white people that I know, to be honest, the only difference between their family and my family is the messiness. Everybody knows everybody's business, and everybody's like it's the talking about the drama and the things that happens. They don't talk about it, but it still happens. Like all the molestation, the bad mamas, the missing baby daddies, all of that. White people go through all of that. The not talking to your brother and sister for months and years at a time. Like the cousins don't get along. Like white people, like I feel like they don't really fuck with each other at all. Really, like
it's crazy. It's insane. The fact that like think about growing up like that, like you've been told that you act like a family. Like, how do you act white?
I used to be told that all the time just because of the way that I speak.
Crazy.
Ridiculous.
Insane. But it's there, and like and it's like it's a problem if you act white, it's a problem if you're not, it's a problem if you're educated. Like I know some great and that's where I got a lot of my advice from, like good advice on how to raise kids and things like that. Teach my son. I used to be telling, girl, I was young and dumb. I used to tell myself Happy Father's Day. Father's to me, F him. But I had somebody get in my inbox one day and was like, hey, you can't be doing that. It just takes, somebody to speak to you, and a matter of not like just put all that, every day I used to wake up, you single, you a teen mom, you this, you that. And that just came from like hatred of like that person was a teen mom. You know what I'm saying? Like, dang. So it just we have to do better as a community, as the Black community.
Yes, I think there's just like a need right now for just love and humanitarianism. We are in the age of Aquarius. Okay, if you don't want to be kumbaya with everybody, I'm not gonna force that on y'all. I'm from Houston. Everybody living in Houston is Indian, is Asian, is Black, is white. Until I move to Austin, where it is primarily white, and they know that they are primarily they know that predominantly is them here. Until I moved here, I'm not gonna say I didn't really have any knowledge of race relations, because let's be real, of course I had knowledge of race relations, but everybody got along. Like it wasn't so like, and then after Trump was in office, I feel like it went back 10 years. Like y'all pretended like we just got out of slavery and segregation, and We is just back in times where niggas is getting lynched every week on the news. Like, that's exactly what happened. And now I just feel like everybody is in such a state of PTSD and trauma and chaos and bitterness. And it's just ugly. Like, can y'all just be nice and be the change that you want to see? Like, Lord, I'm gonna keep praying about it because
Yeah, like love yourself. Love yourself. My homegirl got in an argument like about 3 years ago too with her situation, and the girl was going in on her. I mean, in. And I'm looking like I'm listening to the story, being black. I was like, you should whoop her ass. Should not let her talk to you. Girl, you put your foot in. Da, 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 da. And she looked at me. She said, I told that bitch to love herself. She said, so every time in the mirror. So now, and that took a hold of me. Like I got chills and stuff. So don't argue with me. I'm like, go love yourself. Cause that's what I've been doing. And it's been working. Like if you ain't, and that was just like, yeah, we got to just do better.
we do. We have to get back to righteousness. I don't know what happened. And I'm not telling y'all to be religious and be like all kumbaya with everybody. Of course, you have to have discernment, but we need to just be righteous again. Like, just be nice for the sake of being nice. Just be kind for the sake of being kind. Why is just like ugliness and toxicity the first pettiness, like the first immediate go-to? Like, it's toxic. I'm tired. I'm tired of seeing
I'm
it.
tired of it. You get on TV, you see blue. I'm tired of Blueface and that
I'm sick.
Kasharia girl. I'm tired. It's like it's always toxic. Orlando, they got the bad boy clubs. I'm tired of seeing him on me. I'm just tired. Like, why
Yeah.
if y'all alcohol and drugs and this is what y'all want us to wake up and see and think that this is right and everybody's just talking about it? Like, just self-love. Self-love. Nobody cannot love yourself more than you can love yourself.
Nobody can love you more than you love you. That is a fact.
Mhm.
But because we have gotten so far away from self-love and because it's become more glamorized to show external self-love than do the internal work to really love yourself, that's why we're projecting all this nastiness. And I'm just like, y'all need to fix it. Y'all really need to fix it. I don't know who raised y'all, and then y'all have kids. That's the crazy part about y'all have kids, and y'all kids are out here perpetuating this nonsense too. You know, a little girl said to me the other day, she said, there was a little boy in my class, and I told him that's why his mama don't have a house and she only have an apartment and she don't even like him. And I said, how you gonna tell this boy that just because he doesn't have a house and he lives in an apartment, that you're better than him when just a year ago you were living in an apartment, first of all. Second of all, how you gonna tell him his mama don't like him? She don't. He told us. Well, how you gonna, because he told you that in confidence, just throw that back up
Right.
things? Like
That's how it was with me. That's how it was with you. Ain't even got a mama. And it's like I wanted a mama so bad. Like so bad. Like I just used to cling to women. I had mommy issues. I ain't have nobody. I'm like, and then I used to make what is it? Like people used to be like telling me about their daddy, and I used to be like, well, at least you got a daddy. Like I used to just rather go through all that BS because you have a father. Like I wasn't raised with neither one of my parents that gave birth to me, neither one. And talking about it, I gotta kind of probably apologize to my son because I used to be like, at least you got a mama that care. Like he just wanted his daddy, and it's sad. It's just a sad world we live in. It's really really sad. And those was the kids, they used to do that to me, like bully me and um yeah, bully me and just make me feel like worthless. Like you just don't have nobody. But if somebody would have got a hold of me at a young age and really told me about self-love, self-care, a lot of this wouldn't happen, but everybody's journey is different.
yeah, that's true. That's true. What do you think has been like a epiphany that becoming a mother has like shown you about raising your kids and being a mom in general and just like like, because before you have kids, you have an idea of what being a mother is based on how you were raised or what you think motherhood should look like in general, like what you see
Yeah.
on TV, what you read in books, that kind of stuff. But it's that, like, you never really know until you start to actually do it. And then you having a son so young, I'm sure that you guys kind of grew up together in a lot of ways. So what are some things that your son or being a mother to your son just really taught you or brought home for you in terms of just like life lessons?
That you don't need both parents. He taught me that. I used to cry at night because I didn't have a man and female, because that's how how I saw TV. That's the only way you can have a perfect family. That's the only way you could do things. As a mother, that's the only way your kid is not going to go to jail. That's the only way you're not statistics if you had a mom and dad. And that's why I used to just get in these relationships. The first person that used to tell me I'm pretty or something and told me a couple of little signs and did a couple of little things, minor things right, I used to just welcome them in and just, it was just sad. But he really taught me that doesn't make you a perfect family. Your love, your kind. Man, my son just told me a couple of he was like, I was trying to date, caught myself trying to date. He was like, Mom, you just date. You do not deserve to be with that man. I don't care how nice he is to you. I was like, what? He was like, you just date anybody. You're too pretty. Like, and it's just sad because I have those low moments where I just be like, but and again, a lot of these men are scared to date me. They tell me I'm intimidating because I'm doing all of this and things as a mother, but I become. But he really taught me like self-love, self-care. He really taught me like just being his mom really taught me that nothing is what you see on TV. Nothing is as perfect as it may be. It just may not just be as perfect for you. You could still have your own family. It's all what's in your.
Definitely, nothing is as perfect as the same, that's for sure. And even when you have both of your parents, there still can be issues. So that is definitely true. Let's pivot just a little bit, and I'm gonna ask you a light question. What is your zodiac sign, and what is like 3 things that you feel like really make you like, or that speak to your sign? I would say.
Okay, I am a Virgo. I feel like I'm a true Virgo. I love Virgos. Beyonce, hey. I feel like I got a little Beyonce.
Virgo.
Yes. But I was just talking to a friend of mine about this. I was like, y'all think Virgos are perfectionists? It's not that we want to be perfect. It's just that we want to just do things right, like the right way. It's just in us. So I would say that's one. Um, what I hear about Virgos that I don't like. Um, that's the main one I don't like, how they said we want everything to be perfect and things like that. We just try our best to do it, the correct way. I hear good things like we're good friends, we good people, we are biased of a lot of situations. I do feel like back then I was insane, but now I feel I I am very biased of a lot of people, what they say. What they say, I am like, I don't like to get in between that. It could cause a lot of mess, and I like to just give. I like to get we factual. I like to give facts. Like if it just don't make sense and you don't have no facts, it's a lot of me.
So when it comes to bickering and opinions, you're unbiased until the facts are brought in, and then you'll be biased based on the facts.
Yes,
Okay.
definitely.
That's definitely very Virgo of you. Yeah, for sure.
But that's what I can do. Facts, perfectionist, doing a good job. And I don't know. What have you heard about a Virgo?
So I study astrology, and so I know a lot about Virgos, but the main thing that I hear from other people about Virgos is that they're judgmental, they're analytical, they can be hard to please, they can be very critical. Um, I do hear that they're perfectionists a lot. Um, I would say on the negative side, that's the main thing. On a positive side, I do hear that they're good friends, they're consistent, great lovers, they can be some little freaks in the bed. They know how to be submissive, but they also know how to take control in the right situation. So that's a good thing. Um, they also are pretty funny because like they don't like just necessarily tell jokes all the time, but they just say things in a certain way that's funny. It'd be like people be like laughing at you when you say something, you're like, I'm serious.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
that's a Virgo thing for real. Yeah, like that's and I would say like based on my knowledge of astrology, most of that is pretty accurate, other than um Virgos are not necessarily judgmental of other people as much as they think they are.
Self. Yeah, it's
Exactly.
self. And yes, when you said that, I was like, yes, and critical. We are very critical because we don't like the bad energy. We just don't want it. And we rather for you. That's why I live off positive energy. We just want you to tell us positive stuff, and that negative stuff, it's like it's hard to get away from.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, Virgos definitely don't want to be tainted with the worldliness of certain situations. So in any way that they can keep their hands clean, that they can stay out of it, they're going to do that. And that does kind of come with a certain layer of criticism or judgment, because it's just like, I'm not about to be doing that.
Yeah.
Like y'all out there scrapping in the middle of the parking lot and I'm going in the house.
I was that person scrapping in the middle of the parking lot. I used to be.
You used to be, but you grew up. You know, you might every once in a while you might catch you slipping back in the parking lot. But if you see two girls scrapping in the parking lot, you're not gonna go join them. You're gonna be like, all right, I'm going in the house. That's been me.
Love my,
I
I
don't
love
want
my
to deal with the ratchetry.
ratchet.
Like, that's really that's some Virgo stuff. I don't know why y'all are like that, but it is a thing. But that would be my only thing that I would say is not really true. I think a lot of people think that Virgos are just like they put their nose up to everyone else, and they're really not worried about you. They're just so critical of themselves that you feel like you have to be at a certain level even dealing with them, and that makes you question yourself. But it's not them, it's you.
Mhm.
You have these questions because they're reflecting something to you that you didn't feel like you could get to, and so figure out how to get there, and then you won't feel like they're criticizing you all the time. Because what Virgos are not going to do is constantly come to you and say this and this is wrong with you. They'll say, I don't like this because it made me feel like this. But as far as like your own personal characteristics and traits, they're not going to come to you and say like, I didn't like how you had your eyebrows today. Like that pissed me off. Like
Yeah.
what?
I just told you talking about that. So I am Virgos are pleasers, just like you said. It's not that we control it, we just try to do our best and try to give what people think is good. So you don't have none of those, things like that. And being submissive, I was always told like I was manly, if I didn't do what they say, and I was like this big pleaser. So this guy, been talking to him over a year. He took me on like 3 dates, but he gave me an ultimatum, and he knows that I'm a pleaser. So like he stays like an hour and a half. He was like, "I'm gonna give you an ultimatum to either be exclusive with me or don't talk to me at all. Like we don't talk anyway, like that." So I've been busy with like the kids' birthday, sending my son off to college. he just got in a bad accident, but I felt so bad to tell him no, but he got on my nerve today. He was like, "Are you okay?" He haven't congratulated me or anything. He haven't said happy birthday to the kids and stuff. But you want me to date you exclusively? And I was just like, "I'm all right." He was like, "Have you thought about my answer?" He only gave me a week. It wasn't even a whole full week. He was like, "Have you thought about my answer of dating me?" I said, "Yes, it's a no." And it felt so good. And I was so nervous to tell him that. Like, I just did not. I was on the phone, like, my homegirl, she's a Virgo too. She's like, calm down, calm down. Even though he's nice, you need to, tell him how you feel. I know you don't want to tell him how you feel because you think it's gonna hurt his feelings and stuff. But yeah, Virgos, we don't like to hurt your feelings. And when if we do hurt your feelings, we just telling you something to, better yourself. It's not like that. But it definitely felt good to not. We are definitely people persons, but it definitely felt good to like tell him how you really feel.
Yeah, definitely. Virgos are people pleasers for sure. But a lot of people don't feel like that. Like a lot of people feel like y'all don't really care. And it's not that at all. That's not it. I don't know why that's a misconception of Virgos, because you guys will go above and beyond for the people that you do care about. And even sometimes people you really don't care about, just to say that you did it and you like did the right thing. So I don't know why that's a misconception, but it is.
It's like the shirt off my back.
Girl, it definitely is, but that's funny. Okay, so speaking of that and speaking of relationships, how do you feel like hyper independence has affected your relationships negatively? And is there anything that you feel safe changing to kind of counteract that?
Yes, people are entitled. A lot of people feel so they are so entitled, and like we were just talking about, Virgos being people pleasers, definitely a people pleaser. And I feel like um going into something, you just want to do a good job, you just want to please everyone, and you're going to do whatever they say and do, and then once you tell them no, or you tired or something, it becomes the problem. So definitely been working on that, like and I think that's where that misconception you was speaking about comes in. When a Virgo, like, we would do any and everything for you until we just get to a breaking point, and that's because we don't speak up fast enough.
Mhm.
We let it keep going on and going on, and thinking you're going to change, give you the feedback. Like you said, we said I feel instead of like, nigga, this the fucking problem. Like, this is what really going on, and I need you to change this shit before I like explode. But no, we go in there like, I feel like, and they be like, fuck your feelings, it's about me. and and that's what Virgos have to take in, self-love. Like, it all goes back to self-love. And this wouldn't even have been this much of a problem if your personal self, just love yourself. Like, why do they have to change? This been here this whole time, and you been okay with it, you know?
And now you mad.
Yeah, they be real mad.
It's ridiculous, but that's exactly what it is. It definitely goes back to self-love.
Mhm.
Um, would you say that kind of being in the space that you are, like you're very independent, you're beautiful, you're intelligent, you're in a certain tax bracket, and I'm sure that at face value, it can be intimidating to men and women too. Like if you're trying to make friends. Um, but like, do you feel like you often have to dumb yourself down or like dim your light to just coexist with people? Or do you feel like they
No.
you just let them judge you in peace?
So I was gonna, and the reason I'm smiling so hard, because I was like, don't say that, don't say that, when we was talking earlier. I was gonna say I have to get so high around people to dumb myself down and just sit there. And I was just like saying how it's so hard to have friends as an adult. Everybody is jealous. Everybody is just so judgmental. They don't want to congratulate you or anything. Like I was just about to say that. But yeah, it's hard. I have to dumb myself down to just even be around people. And sometimes I'm so I'm kind of to not being around people. Like I don't need you. And it does intimidate a lot of people. That's why um I'm like single now. They be like asking me to like go on dates, asking me to like do certain things. That's just like I feel like beneath me because I would never ask you to do this. I would never ask you, to do that. Then they want to judge you. Oh, since I'm not doing this, this is not good enough for you, or yeah. Just like they told me I was on BLK. They told me to get on BLK and meet some people. That's why I met the dude that my son told me I date anybody. And then this one dude, he was so tiny. He was under 5 foot. And he told me, I just didn't know how to respond in the proper way. I responded the best way I could. And he was like, so you just think you all that because you can't date short dudes or whatever. And I was just like, I tend to like put my hands on little people. It's like you just can't say that.
You cannot just say that. What?
I'm like, what? I told this dude I am not interested like 15 times. He's just not my cup. We're just not that. But as soon as I said that, it was like a problem. But I definitely have to dumb myself down or say something that's like out of the ordinary to, understand. And then I'm looked at as the vicious or mean one, or that girl just dumb. She don't be understanding nothing that's going on.
That is too funny.
Yeah. So I'm not a crazy girl that say crazy things because if I tell you in the nice way possible, I be feeling like it's in communication issues. And but if I tell you something in a nice way possible, it's like, no, they gonna keep going. People would just keep going. And then if I say something rude, it's a problem.
Entitlement. That's all that is. Entitlement. Um, how do you feel like your experience of grief and losing somebody that you really felt like you could have spent the rest of your life with? How do you feel like it really deepened your understanding of just empathy and compassion and forgiveness?
I don't know.
You don't know.
I just looked at like he wasn't perfect guy. Nobody's perfect. And he did do some foul stuff. Uh, but he left me with a lot of like great feedback. He left me with a lot of positive energy. And I just wanted to keep it going. And then you do have these negative people, they will still remind you. People do not forget like anything bad. They don't forget. It could be from 10 years now. They're gonna bring up your past. They're gonna bring up what you did. I don't know. Did you watch like Housewives of Atlanta?
Yeah, I haven't watched it recently, but I used to watch it years ago. Yeah.
Yes, and every like show they always bring it up Marlo. And how many times she been arrested and all of her past. But that girl haven't been arrested in like over like 30, 40 years. But people are still stuck by that. They just anything she does, if she does one say miss thing, they bring up her past to make, to like shut her down. And I just never wanted that to be that situation, between me and him. And that was like kind of like I lost like friends and stuff, but that was like kind of like the first person I lost that meant something. Yeah.
So do you feel like it made you look at yourself differently?
Yes. Mhm.
How so?
Um, just for his remarks, how he used to tell me I was good, the energy I used to get from him, instead of him, like, I used to talk king shit about my own self and how critical I was, and just, everything. And he used to be like, and I used to be living for the world. Like, I don't have this type of car. I don't have this. I used to drive like a 2007 Nissan Maximum. It used to be, he used to make all these weird noises. I was so embarrassed. He used to always tell me it wasn't my season. It's just like a lot of stuff that he used to tell me. And I always used to like down myself and things on it. And like kind of crazy after his passing, I started living on the good words that he said. Got the car with the same year I am, able to, before he passed, we was looking at cars for my son. He was 14. Yeah, he was 14 then. He passed when he was like 15. He was like, you better start looking for cars, getting him a car, because on his 16th birthday, you got to get him a car. He just built me ahead of the game, because I always like literally thought all of this stuff took like two parents. Should have took two parents. And I used to like get so mad that his daddy wasn't around or anything like that. And then the love that he showed my son, like, he made me realize that it don't have to be your real parents. Like, I wasn't raised with my real parents, even though I was raised with others and it didn't, work out the way I did. But all of those steps made me into who I am today.
Right. That's beautiful though.
Oh, thank you.
So it definitely did teach you a little bit, or I would say not teach you, but it deepened your empathy and compassion, mostly for yourself. And it allowed you to forgive probably a lot of people who had hurt you and degraded you, because you were able to forgive yourself for that. And when you can let it go from you, then it's easier to let go from others. So that makes sense.
Mhm.
Um, Is there anything in particular that you do now or that you used to do in the past, like a practice or a belief or a mantra, anything? It could be just like something random that you do that kind of just brings you back down to earth, calms you down, puts you into the mind frame of like, okay, I feel like Demeka again. Because sometimes when life gets a little heavy and things start to happen, and when you're going through things that are as heavy as you're going through, like, custody battles and things like that, it's easy to just check out and be like over here while you're watching yourself, like do stuff. Like, is that me? Am I really doing that? But I can't pull myself back,
Mhm.
So is there anything that you do that puts you back into the present moment and back to peace, back to center?
I speak, I manifest things. I speak greatness into myself. And then I have friends that know what I'm doing. And any moment I doubt myself, they like, I tell my daughter every day that I have her, I be like, who's beautiful, who is intelligent, who is a Black princess. And I have to tell my things that I am successful, I am great. Love yourself. I am loved by myself. I am a winner. I have to tell myself I am. I have to use those type of statements instead of what I used to do is like, I used to use I am statement, but it used to be I am ugly, I will never succeed, I am a statistic, I am this, those, I wish I was dead. Like, those was my mindsets, but I have to change it. Like, I was going through it like last week. That's why I was laughing too, because I called my home girl. I'm like, I'm just gonna let him have her. I'm gonna take off being a mommy for a whole year. I had a whole plan. I was gonna move to Arizona, girl. I was gonna transfer my job. Had a whole, and I'm like, I'm tired of paying court costs. I like literally checked the fuck out of that whole situation. And she's like, girl, no. Do you want that girl having custody of your daughter? Do you want this? You are a great mother. You did. You are a winner. You are successful. Because she had asked me that. And I was like, you know what? Went home, looked in the mirror at myself and I was, speaking I am, but more positive comments about myself. And then, woke up the next day and, prayed about it, manifest. But, I don't even manifest like, how we get so angry, we're like, I wish this would happen to him. I wish this would happen. I just says like return all negative energy back to the sender. And I just manifest great things about myself and my kids. Like I wish them peace. I wish them, health. Health is very important. Health is wealth. I hope they succeed. Instead of using like passive hope and stuff, they are. I had to change my vocabulary.
So you just speak a lot of life into yourself and your kids and whatever situation you're going through, and that's what helps kind of bring you back to center. That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. I always am saying that out loud, but I feel like it's been a minute since I said it. Like it's important to speak things to yourself out loud. Like a lot of people don't practice that. And so I'm glad that you said that, because I feel like, it's a message that needs to be shared. Speaking things to yourself out loud, it makes a difference. Like it's one thing to say something to yourself in your head, but when you speak it out loud, you're saying it's almost like when you hear a song, like it just clicks in because you can hear it. And so you need to say it, speak it, hear it, which allows you to feel it. You feel the vibration coming out of your mouth. And then that brings the energy full circle. That is a powerful tool in manifestation. And y'all notice how she said, I manifest things, I manifest things. She didn't say I speak, she said I manifest things, because what she speaks happens.
Yeah, and don't say like I wish. I used to be like, I wish I was this. I wish I was that. I wish I was.
No.
I be like, I am confident. I am beautiful. And I am successful. I am a winner. I'm going to win this month no matter, what goes on. My kids are healthy. They are successful. Like people was doubting my son. A lot of people called me and told me my son is not going to do well in college. He's not going to do and I was like, he's not, but I have great friends. Like he's going to do well. You need to speak that. Don't listen to them. And I'm like, you're right. He is going to do well. He's going to be great. He is a winner. And I tell him that. Like, you're a winner, right? You're a Black queen, you Black excellence. Like, that. He'd be like, Mom, I know.
He's going to appreciate that later on.
Yeah. Like, don't give up. You have to. Yeah. But he gets tired of it. But back then, as like a young mom, I used to get angry at him. I used to be angry that I was a young mom. I'd be like, can't be. But it was all what I was speaking into myself.
Yeah, it makes a difference. It makes a difference. I used to always say out loud, and I used to put it in all my posts with a hashtag and everything, 28 and wealthy. I don't know why. I don't know where it came from. I was probably like 25 when I started, but I used to it was a thing. I was saying, I'm going to be 28 and wealthy. I'm going to be 28 and wealthy. I'm going to be 28 and wealthy. So then by the time I turned 28, obviously, I wasn't like rich, like financially wealthy, but spiritually speaking, I had a wealth of knowledge, like I had a wealth of love around me. I was able to quit my job and start my business and pursue my passion. So like that really came to pass. And I didn't even know why I was saying that at the time, but I was saying it and it came to pass. And then now, when I wake up in the morning, I say certain affirmations to myself. I look in the mirror and say certain things to myself, and, those things slowly but surely, they start manifesting. So that's a powerful tool in manifestation. Definitely take that with you if you are watching this and that is something that you do not do. And again, say it out loud. It makes a difference if you say it out loud. If you need to write it down just to get it clear in your head, write it down, but then still say it out loud every day. Okay, or even if not every day, at least when you're in negative situations, you need to come back to your intention. Okay, I've got 2 more questions for you, and then we can wrap up. What is some advice that you would give to other young mothers or individuals who've gone through similar experiences about nurturing their spiritual growth alongside of their responsibilities as a parent?
Just know that you're not a statistic and you are worthy. You are worthy of everything that you want. You can do anything that want to do. You don't necessarily have to have that other parent, around to make you a good parent. And just avoid a lot of negative things. A lot of people don't have your best interest, and pay attention to what they're telling you. I know it's hard because my son do it to this day. Like he turned 18. He think he grown. He think he grown. His his boo boo don't stink. It smell like roses. And I'll just be like, boy, you gonna need me before I need you. Yeah, I know everybody I heard that saying, and it's not because they're mad at you or anything like that. They just, they've been trying to give you like some great advice that they, really want you to take in, and just listen, and then value. Just you are worthy. Just know that you are worthy and value yourself and manifest those good things, and not say you wish. Wish, say I am.
I am is very powerful. Just I am alone is very
Mhm.
powerful. Yes, keep the I am. That's good advice. I like that. Okay, my last question for you. Um, what is some advice that you would give about conserving your energy in the midst of your healing? Because we've talked about this whole time about how it's a continuous process. I don't know why my allergy search is going crazy all of a sudden, y'all. Y'all can see me scratching my nose. I've been sneezing, Lord. Um, um,
Still look cute doing it.
thank you. We've talked a lot about how it's a continuous journey, right? And the work never ends. And, we're constantly improving, we're constantly having these realizations, and, we have to always go back in and redo sometimes and rework. Sometimes we go back and revert from things that we feel like we've grown past. So, what is something that you would say about being able to conserve your energy and all of that? Because it can be exhausting. And how do you really just allow yourself sometimes to take a break and just be?
Um, to me, everything is a job, and if you want to be successful, at whatever you do, you have to make a routine. Routines are and processes are important. Change is important. You have to be willing, to change and things like that. So I had my moments. I just told you I thought I was gonna give her up, but reflecting onto yourself, you just gotta get. It depends. A lot of things depends on who you're around, who energy you bring around, who you allow around, and just listen to what you're saying. And a lot of it, a lot of manifestation, a lot of things just come from yourself. You gotta like, if when I say that I am beautiful, when I'm feeling down and all these ugly guys is talking to me, it makes me like it just makes me like, go fix myself up, and just know that you bad, or every month my job is like a commission job, and I get paid commission. So every month I tell myself I am a winner and I'm going to get this, and every month is just been happening. You have to speak those things into yourself. But when I have my down moments, those when things seem to like just fall apart for me.
Because it's because your hope and belief changes.
Mhm.
I always tell people it's not about what you think, it's about what you believe.
It
And
is.
like people think I'm crazy when I say that, but you can have all the positive thoughts in the world. If you don't believe it, if you don't feel it to be true in your spirit, like if you don't know it to be fact, it's never gonna happen. Like I knew that I was gonna be doing something different by the time I was 28. I just knew. I didn't know what I was gonna be doing. I didn't know how I was gonna get there. I just knew. Like I knew that I was going to be in love. I never knew I was going to be married, but I knew that I was going to be in love with a woman, and I was going to have a partner that I was going to be with, once I found them. And that was just going to be it. I knew, I knew that I was going to move away from the city that I lived in and start another life somewhere else. I just knew, like, I knew. There was never any doubt. There was never any question. I just knew. I knew that I was going to be a spiritual worker. I just knew. I know how I was going to do it. I know to what capacity I was going to do it. I definitely wasn't about to be nobody tarot reader because I don't even like people like that. But here we are. You know what I'm saying? Like,
we are here, and you've been giving me some wonderful, like y'all watch this shit is really, really good. Like, really good. Like, she be reading cards. I'm like, nah, that ain't gonna happen. That ain't gonna happen. I be calling her. I'm like, it happened. This is what
man,
on point. Like, you are the bomb.com. I love you and I adore you. And yeah, you're really great.
thank you. Thank you. I really do enjoy this work. It's just not something that I ever thought that I would do. Like, I've always been interested in like natural healing and astrology and like somatic healing and healing with the hands, like, and like praying over people and stuff like that. Like, even as a child, I was doing stuff like that. So I knew it was gonna be something, but reading people, like, that found me. I didn't even find it. That found me. So sometimes I'm still in amazement at some of the things that I'll say, and then they turn around and happen. Like, it'll be crazy. I'll say something is going to happen in 3 months, and then the person will call me in 3 months, or it may even be 3.5, 4 months later, and they'll be like, "Oh my God, this happened and this happened." Or I'll say, "You're going to have this realization, and this person is going to be involved, and this is going to happen." And then I don't know when it's going to happen, but I'll say it's going to happen. Then a year later, the person is calling me and they're saying, "This happened." Or I'll get on the phone with somebody and I'll start talking. They haven't even really told me anything. I'll start saying something. And then they'll be like, "Well, oh my God, this is what's going on." I'm like, it's just still sometimes a little bit baffling for me. So that's what I'm saying. Like, you gotta believe. You just gotta know.
Even and I need your first 2 messages. Take it first message. I'm like, let me test this out a little bit.
Like, you just,
For real, like, it was really happening. I didn't call you and tell you until I got a little bit more comfortable, and then I started listening. Like, because everything that she's saying, it does come true at some point. Like, she told me once, she was like, somebody probably from your past is gonna reach out to you that had a crush on you. I'm like, child, please, man. I mean, like, literally, like, the next day. I haven't talked to this man in 10 years. He reached out to me. "Hey, beautiful, how you doing?" Like, what is going on?
I don't know. Like, I don't know. That's the crazy part about it. Like, I don't know how I be knowing. I just be knowing. Like, people
You told
ask
me
me,
I was gonna be.
like, how does it work? And I'm like, I don't know. I can't explain it to you. Like, it's energy. That's what it is. It's just energy. But so that goes back into what I was saying though. You can't just think. You have to believe. And with belief, you have to know, because it's a lot of people that say they believe in God, but then the God that they believe in and pray,
10 Commandments.
they
That was
don't.
me. That was me.
They don't. They don't honor any of the commandments. They don't honor any of the biblical text. They don't even really like know for a fact that their God is going to come through for them. They're hoping. And then they wonder why they're just stuck in prayer, and nothing's happening.
Because you don't believe it. They don't want to make no.
Right. You don't believe and you don't know. And so therefore you're not changing. You're not showing up. You're just expecting for somebody to save you. You're expecting for a situation just magically change. It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. So I think that's a great note for us to leave off on before I give you your postcards from Spirit. This was great. First of all, thank you for doing this. I feel like there's a lot of people that need to see this, because there's not a lot of people that I'm talking to who have been through the things that you've been through, and who are just in a position where they're okay to share and be vulnerable and transparent. You know what I'm saying? So I really do appreciate you for allowing me to hold that space for you and trusting my following to do right by you, because they will.
Yes.
They will. You don't have to worry about anything crazy, negativity, or anything like that. We positive over here. But I just wanted to say that because, I know sometimes it takes a lot for that vulnerability and transparency. Okay, I ended up pulling 2 postcards from Spirit for you. I don't know why, but that's
Like
just
always, because you always get.
I don't know why that always happens. Like, what is, I feel like it's you. Like, you just be like, I want to, she gonna pull 2. And then you just be sending me your little energy. And I'd be like, all right.
You need both of these. You need to hear both of these messages.
But I also pulled from my 11 Moons Oracle. So the 2 11 Moons Oracles that came out for you actually are both from the Tree of Life. I don't really talk to y'all a lot about Kabbalah, but Kabbalah is something that I practice and believe in. I do follow the Tree of Life. There's 2 spirits on the Tree of Life, Binah and Had. Binah is represented by the number 3, and Binah represents the divine intelligence of God, okay? Represents the forming of the tree, because we can't really form anything without knowledge. We are body, we are spirit, and we are also mind, right? So we always need that third leg. And so I feel like this is just a reminder to you that the divine intelligence of God lives within you. So that knowing and that intuition and those inklings that you feel pulling you down or pushing you out to kind of build this form, even though it may not be the easiest path to follow, even though it may not be promising, even though it's been frustrating in the past. It's just a reminder that you have to follow that intelligence, because it's the only way, pretty much. Like, that's the only way to move forward and build your foundation and go from 3 to 10, which is completion. Otherwise, you're going to get stuck and keep repeating 3, 1, 2, 3, 3, 1, 2, 3, 3, 1, 2, 3. And I think you've been doing that. So this makes sense.
Yes. And crazy, I've been seeing 333 for the last week and a half.
That's crazy. So
Insane.
that makes sense. So then Pod that represents the majesty and splendor of God. So this is a reminder that things are definitely going to work out in your favor. When you have the majesty and splendor of God on your side, things have no choice but to work out in your favor. Because at the end of the day, as humans, we can only do so much. A lot of things are outside of our control, and we have to trust Spirit for the rest of that. So this, I think, is coming in as a message to say you can trust Spirit, and Spirit got your back pretty much. Then you even have the number 3 card come out, the form of the tree.
Insane.
Craziness. So your postcard from Spirit, the first one says, "Dear you, what is true for you? Can you be impeccable with your word? Sure you can. As long as it's not used to manipulate others, the truth can set everyone free. Let go of the results, let go of your fears, and allow the truth to empower you and others. This will set into motion a kind of change that will be supportive of you and loving and all kinds of prosperous. This is not a time to compromise and hide your truth from others. Whatever it is you want, go for it and be clear in your motives, especially with yourself. You will be so happy you did. This is a time where you will tap into the power to co-create and manifest your best life. Doesn't that feel amazing? And the results, miraculous. When you tell the truth and ask the same of others, you can learn a lot from life's bountiful lessons and achieve your dreams."
Love it. Everything we just talked about.
Yes, full circle for sure. And then the last one says, "Dear you, you are in such good shape right now that we are all doing a happy dance. In this moment, you have the power to make a choice, to get with Spirit and co-create a miracle. You may wonder where this is all going, but If you want to manifest your desires for the highest good, you need to stay focused on the now. All power is in the present moment. Ask yourself, what are your dominant thoughts now? What beliefs are you motivated by? Do you have clarity right now? How is your conscious contact with the divine? Are you plugged in, or are you trying to do life all by your small self? Get rid of negative energy now. Resentments be gone. Forgiveness and love enter, please. You can do your life beautifully and create your most powerful future right here, right now, in this moment. Are you thrilled to know you have a huge cheering section over here? Love and hugs always.
Good. Needed all of that. Needed all of that. I had a breakdown
Oh,
this morning. Everything. It's crazy.
yes, I know that. I know you needed that because when I was reading it, it felt like a hug. So I feel like that's how it felt to you
Yeah.
because it felt like somebody just wrapped their arms around me and just.
Like, it just let all like that message, both of the messages just let everything that I've been going through just in the last couple of days, like really, like, yeah, I'm doing the right thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, you guys, thank you for tuning into this episode and installment of Enlightened Investments. Please make sure you comment on the video to join the conversation, share the video so that more people can join the conversation. And if you know anyone who you think would like to participate in an Enlightened Investments session, definitely contact me and let me know. All the information is down in the description box. You all know that you can follow me on 11 Moons 11 on everything: TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, 11 Moons 11. The only thing that's different is YouTube, which is Empowered by 11, and the link is in the description box. You don't go anywhere, but I am gonna stop recording.
Okay.